Final message in your team meeting?
Webby was just said to be fearless. We've got nothing to lose, so let's go out with a bang. Yeah.
Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Back to you, Nudge.
Thank you, Kate. Equals 6th in kicks this year. Tilly, Lucas Rod, they will be an important cog tonight. Two Hawks in the All-Australian squad. So Eliza West, stand-in captain with no Emily Bates. Jazz Garner on 97 goals. Will the three come tonight after they weren't found last weekend? Hawks in a tight huddle, and Kate McCarthy has mentioned, what's the avenue for an upset?
Well, these are the exact same keys we had this time last week. They have to be clean with the footy. They have to make sure they make North Melbourne pay if they get the opportunity. So that's finishing off in front of goal. It's making the most of the handball when they're out. That needs to be right. They need to cut off the uncontested possession. They need to make sure that that's shut down, and they need to hold their 5 forwards ahead of the footy.
Abby, how do North extend the Arden streak to 25?
Well, can I say much of the same? I think we're getting sick, aren't we? You're talking about how dominant they are, but first and foremost, their brick wall defensive setup. They do it so well. They communicate. Opposition sides find it so hard to penetrate in attack purely for their defensive structure behind the ball. They need to own the air inside 50. You look at their forwards. I mean, Talia Randall, kick 4 last week. Emma King, Kate Sheila back into the side. Hawthorn, unfortunately, a little bit undersized defensively against those keys. So that's another area for North Melbourne. And then the inside-outside game, which we know North Melbourne do so well. Their balls in and under, winning a contested footy, but then also transferring to the outside and continuing with that run forward.
There are the conditions. Matt Girdley's going to have the first turn in the ruck. Imagine she'll be working in tandem with Jess Vukic back into the team tonight. Game 700 of AFLW commences the premiership climb for 2025. What a month ahead we've got. Tripodi heading for Ghana. 100 metre Bruton. Kick forward from Rennie was clever. Sliding back, Smith for the Hawks. Looks to switch, putting link with Williamson. And allow Wall in with the Shepherd for Smith, who can share it with Wall, who curls to the left. Didn't get terrific contact on it, might not matter. Both to the front, off the ground, didn't get full purchase. Hawthorn in a scrimmage. They can't panic here. Garner and Erdley almost thought about walking that over with no pressure. Thankfully, she finds Lucas Rod.
But they've got a pause in play here, but that was a perfect example of where Hawthorn need to be better tonight. They win the footy, defensive 50, they exit kick, they miss the kick, and then it brings in a 2v1 from a North Melbourne perspective. So Hawks just need to be able to hit those kicks tonight.
Sheila!
Perfect example.
Incredible. The heads-up defence from North. I'll try and go pinpoint for Garner. Chopped off. Good heads-up play from Elliott. Still working it though for the Hawks. Everest slams the boot into it. Gilroy to meet it. Fleming. Can the Hawks get out the back of North? Fleming's closed down in a bolt tackle. O'Shea, Riddell, West, all over. The leading position getter in the comp this year.
Just talking in the midweek, Dan Webster said he had a few little triggers to pull. Well, Tilly Lucas Rod started in the half-forward line right next to Emma Carney, but then as soon as that centre bounce went up, Tilly Lucas Rod is back to their usual half-back position as well. So a few little mind games with the magnets going on at the moment.
That high, Carney knows how to take the advantage. Off the outside of the right to Randall. A fill-up with 4 last Friday night at Frankston. Kicks off the side of her right. Sheila protecting the drop. In contest with Everest. Ground game. Tripodi. Tackle immediately on Richardson, who released the footy to Amy Smith. And will curl it to the line. Marks 50-22 to North last Friday night. Encouraging that Hawthorn generated those first 2 to get a chain going.
Yeah, you've got to get the first couple against them, but you cannot allow them to get that first one either, because we saw in the pre-game how quickly they chain by foot skills, and then if they can get that overlap, looks similar to the way that Carney then took that advantage. As they can break that line, they are dynamite by foot.
Amy Smith on screen turns 27 on Monday. Another who's had a career best season, saying a bit after being 7th and the best and fairest in a premiership season 12 months ago. Carney lurking on the defensive side. Wall with velocity to Randall, who could have given it back to Vicky, but instead heads for the square. And Sheila, sizable fist, once and twice. Mark could have been claimed. Meanwhile, Bruton, you can hear the Hawthorn's fans are incensed. West, Williamson, that was panicked. You could read it in her eyes. Ashmore slides through a couple of kangaroos. High snap, McDonough. Ground level O'Shea. Riddell outside of the right. Garner got a tricky bounce, got the kick away from Lucas Rod. Coin does similar for the Hawks, who breach halfway for a second occasion. Bodie gets hot stepping, puts it in reverse. Handball back. The release option was West. The pressure from Garner was good enough to create a fumble and force Fleming back. Half volley to Smith for the Hawks. 2-on-2 down the line, and Birch again, the chief interceptor for the Roos.
Well, it was the right idea by Greta Bodie. Just had no forwards forward of the footy, so backpedaled, looked to transfer via handball, but there's just been a couple of nervous moments for Eliza West early, a few fumbles, which if she's been clean with her hands, get the Hawks going forward cleanly.
Libby Birch, one of 6 Roos in the All-Australian squad named yesterday. Ball with the mark. And the applause from Tripodi. Immediately off her line and takes ground again with a Gaelic-style kick off the chest of Randall. Supreme recovery. Bruton to Eddie. Kick smothered by Sheriff, who looks for the body. Eddie wants the ball and is hunting it. And Williamson in tandem. North's pressure in the front half evident.
It is, and the one-on-ones that they're getting ahead of the footy at the moment, North Melbourne look really dangerous. We just saw there, that kick from Vicky Wall didn't come off the way that they wanted to, but Randall just anticipating it better, and that'll be a 50.
So Emma Carney had come through the middle looking for the feed hand pass off Rennie. And some confusion amongst the Hawthorn players in the vicinity. Walks Kim Rennie to a makeable spot for the first goal of the finals.
I'd love to see a replay of that, because the rule was changed that if you split with the player behind the mark, the other player is actually allowed to take that dangerous space around the other side. But we'll have to wait for a replay.
Last goal in round 1, season 7. Rennie with the first of the qualifier for North. So Kim Rennie on the board, experienced premiership success here as a Roo and dog. North Melbourne with something to show for the first 6 inside 50s of the match.
So have a look here. Emma Carney went through the mark. Yeah, it's that Nat Exxon then tried to take the mark. No, that is definitely a 50. Thought it might have been that opportunity where you split from the player, but Exxon has to clear that protected space. So Carney, very clever, working that through, but just a little bit of unawareness from Nat Exxon.
Rennie back to ruck duties against Vukic. And funneled it out. Eddie's kick smothered. North in forward motion. Tripodi back to Rennie. Tumbling ball. King missed the grab. A casual attempt, perhaps. Lachlan certainly wasn't, and fighting for it, as was Bruton, who got a fistful of ponytail. And the free kick will go the way of the Hawks, who can look to settle things through Vukic. Allen, no issues with a hamstring last Friday night to take her place. To Williamson. Closest the Hawks have been to goal. O'Shea trying to stop it, and Will, a hold from McDonough.
Just got caught behind on that occasion, put the arms around. Free kick against McDonough was there.
Erica O'Shea's parents have made their way out from Ireland and are in the crowd tonight at Icon Park for the qualifying final. Ferguson, Shannon, and it's easy work for North horizontally across Icon Park to find Birch.
Done well here, Hawthorn, though. They've taken away the uncontested possession. They've made the ground really tight for them, and now they've generated a turnover. Well defended.
Comes through Elliott. A shrewd piece of bodywork. Take ground. Birch left McDonough. Had play on a mark. Instead went in the fist, and the ball's into scrimmage. Birch with a tackle on McDonough, and that does enough to walk Gilroy to the line.
You can see Elliott looking to come laterally and utilise the switch for the Hawks.
There was a lasso, free kick, Gilroy the smother, North get the ball back in hand. Gatt needing an option. Shannon, run down, indecision, pressure on all layers. And Hawthorn get a key stop in a good spot through Coyne.
Love that defensive pressure from Keely Coyne, just stayed in the hunt on the player. Eliza Shannon unaware how close Coyne was on her toe, but this is time for the Hawks now to just lock it in, get some time in forward half, try and get some repeat looks.
Keely Coyne, 2 goals for the season. Shea will sprint it out and point where it needs to go and try and be a secondary option for Gatt, who decided to kick. Hawthorn's intercepting game is kicking into gear.
Laura Elliott had a great game last Friday night. She started this one off in similar fashion.
Shannon chops it off. McDonough's the teasing distance. Birch just takes the mark.
Really an own goal night.
Love the defence from McDonough, and this again. Contest from Coyne. Early run out of room. Kate, I really liked Nat Exon, who was the player to come in and cover Boyd, who was the handball option a bit earlier for that rundown tackle that Coyne executed.
And Ab, they're squeezing them really well here. They've switched once, couldn't find anything. They had to switch again to try and find that uncontested possession. So Hawthorn, they're making the ground really small and trying to take away that uncontested possession from North.
Little shift in things since the Rennie goal. West, as always, good in close, but Tripodi up to the task with the strip. And Shriddell's already had a breather.
Hawthorn doing really well at locating early in this game. They had one sitting behind the footy. Good tackle there, but they're just locating well. They're covering off, but North very good defensively then.
That was third touch of the night. King planted the feet and raised the arms. It's for Randall, who's a presence, and North are out the back again. Craven is deepest, and the one lengthening. The kick won't quite get there. That's terrific intercept play. What a hot start to the night from Laura Elliott.
It's her third intercept mark for this game already. Laura Elliott. That was just beautiful body use as well and reading the footy better.
Richardson, Sheriff, will have to leave it for Everest, who could think corridor. Lucas Rod completely missed the hand pass attempt. O'Shea didn't. Neither Bruton. Craven, usually so calculated, kicks off the line. Pinpoint for Bode, who drops the mark. Switched the feet, kick on the left, got through West, scoop by Riddell. Lucas Rod's got trouble coming in the form of Bruton.
The Hawks are in this game early. They're in everything, but it's those basic fundamentals that are letting them down. I mean, the missed handball there by Tilly Lucas Rod. Williamson was on the outside, on the wing, in a mountain of space.
Eddie the smother, Randall the snap. Last line defence from Everest. There's shades of last Friday night in it.
There definitely is, but the Roos, on the other hand as well, they've dropped a couple of chest marks inside forward 50. We saw Bogue then. We saw the link up though between Emma King and Talia Randall. That was beautiful. You still feel like that dominance is in the air, Abs, if there's anywhere around the ground that they are owning.
Off hands, McDonough. Craven careful not to infringe. Hawks eventually can bust it out. Flockhart involved. North's pressure at halfway turns it over. Garner shoveling hand pass. Eddie on the move was Riddell. Kick on the 45 for Randall, who's getting plenty of room and working Richardson over. Bode, the deepest, has got out the back of Allen, but the kick will come short and wide for O'Shea. Sneaking in on Barber. Advantage or no mark would probably be the best result for the Roos. O'Loughlin can't quite curl it far enough.
You love that from Bubba. It was a first-year player throwing the body on the line just to impact there. Let's take another look at it. I mean, O'Shea Oh, was it a mark? Was it not a mark? But Bubba right there on her tail and able to impact.
Problems at either end for the Hawks. North's top 2 possession getters. Talia Randall forward with 6. Erica O'Shea from the back has 5. McDonough's out. Can Hawthorn be? Gilroy leant back on the kick. Bodie was not sure whether to present. Birch flicked it out. There's a little push on Ferguson from McDonough. Tackle sees Gilroy out.
The other concern, Nige, 6 disposals to Talia Randall, 3 marks. So she is getting busy ahead of the footy, getting clean possession, taking marks. It has just been that next kick that hasn't quite connected yet for North Melbourne. But you feel like if you continue to give her the opportunity in front of the big stick, she's going to make you pay.
Well, the coaches talk about not getting beaten by what they know. Talia Randall burning bright once again after 4 last Friday night. Where the game got away from Hawthorn in a 3-minute patch either side of half-time. Craven and Eddie goals late in the second, and then Talia Randall with 2 in the first 4 minutes. Again, good front half pressure from Hawthorn. Can they capitalise? Losing her footing was Barber. Not the case with Bodie. Not much of a hand pass, but it's forward nonetheless. And Lachlan, and more to grass. Craven, clean. O'Loughlin couldn't get through. The pair of Hawks, no advantage. They'll try and set things up through Flockhart. McDonough presented. Carney cut the angle. Bodie flicked it through the legs, but there was all ruse. Rennie to Craven. You deal with it. Barber and Lucas Rod won't let the ruse out. And McCarney, an opportunity for a 9th All-Australian Blazer after being named in the squad yesterday. Even Jazz Garner can't keep that in.
It's really good defensive work by the Hawks forwards. Just no easy exits for North Melbourne. You just see their leading disposal, Libby Birch with 6 defensively, so they're making them work, the Hawks.
Territories even since the Roos had the first 6 inside 50s. Now 10-5 to the reigning premiers. Rennie's tap only to the agency of Lucas Rod, who works it with Allen. Hand in from O'Loughlin. It's Crow against the premiership Roo. To Eddie, to Riddell, who ducked through Ashmore. Craven, trapped on her left, has a get-out-of-jail card in the form of Bogue.
Every time they just need a mark to settle things down, that's exactly what the Roos find.
Sheelaw, hand in from King, air swing, Bruton makes contact, and the ball's in a good spot for North. Barber was always going to win the foot race. It's a dangerous kick across goal. Last week that cost them one. Exon camped on.
Kate, how's the work rate of Grace Bubba? Once again, I sang her praises only a few minutes ago, but a first-year player, she's providing defensive pressure as a forward, and next minute she's helping out in defence as well.
Riddell just had to be clean, and she could take full advantage. No, it's dusted the base of the post. On Grace Barber, Abby, top 3 in the 2K time trial at the draft combine, but it's great to see the track stuff migrate to a game and be on show in the work rate you speak of.
Absolutely. Work rate is crucial here, and it's certainly on display early from Bubba. Very impressive stuff to watch.
She's just willing herself from contest to contest. It's not necessarily pretty, but she's doing it with such vigour and intent that she's laying tackles that need to be laid.
Kim Rennie's goal at the 5-minute mark. The separator between the teams in the qualifying final. The ex-Roo Gilroy marks. And the Hawks have got 50 seconds to at least lodge a score in the term. That won't help as Carney reads it so well off the boot. North might look to put the cue in the rack or lull the Hawks into a false sense of security. Ferguson finds Craven, and they've got every right to have a go here in the final 30 seconds. Tripodi, O'Shea wide, better still. Shannon snuck down. Garner has threaded deep. Won't get to this, but King will.
That was far too easy. We've talked all night, or all quarter, as they've just taken away that uncontested possession. But it was kick, mark, wait as long as you can for a player to open up. They will open up. That was something special, though, on the end of it, wasn't it? Pack mark from Emma King.
8-4 for the season from 6 games. Some hamstring issues created a stuttering start to her 2025, but Emma King hits the post. North with a 10-point margin at quarter time in the qualifying final, and for the 50th time in their 24-match win streak, they have held a team goalless in a quarter. Can the Roos maintain the run towards 25 straight victories? They're in pole position after one with a 10-point buffer in the qualifying final.
All right, folks, there we go. It's quarter time here, qualifying final, and of course North Melbourne, well, they're having to work for this lead. It's 1-4-10. Hawthorn, well, they've been held scoreless in the opening term. Hey, Taddy, how you doing? Welcome in. Of course, the first game of the finals, AFLW football action here. And it's been a cracking game. I tell you what, it's been good pressure from both sides in this game. Hawthorn certainly under the more pressure than North Melbourne. North Melbourne looking more dangerous when they're going forward. Just look a little bit more composed with the ball all around the ground. Hawthorn just need to compose themselves, going inside forward 50, looking for some better targets. They just seem to be rushing the ball a little bit at the moment, do Hawthorn. But 10 points of margin, of course, North Melbourne is expected to win this game. They went into this game $1.01 favourites. Hawthorn 13-1. So there we go. Of course, North Melbourne on about a 24-game winning streak here. Went through the home and away season undefeated. Of course, Hawthorn finished 4th on the ladder. North Melbourne on top of the ladder. We're going to ring-a-ding-ding game here. Hawthorn are going to throw all they can at North Melbourne to get that spot to play off for the grand final. But North Melbourne looking reasonably good so far. I'd expect North Melbourne to open up their game a little bit going forward in this match, but you just never know what's going to happen. 3 quarters still to come here. Down there at Icon Park, it's about 18 degrees. A little bit of rain early, but it looks like beautiful conditions out there for footy tonight, folks. Looks like fantastic. Let's go and have a look at the goal scorer. We've only got 1 goal scorer at the moment, of course, coming from North Melbourne. Kim Rennie, right there. She's just kicked the 1 goal. 5 disposals, 3 kicks for the 1 goal. Let's have a look at the leading disposal getter. And, of course, the one and only Ash Riddell, always up near the leaderboard. She's had 7 disposals for North Melbourne, leading the way, kicked behind. 3 kicks, 4 handballs. She's had a tackle, 2 clearances. Nice opening term from her. Talia Randall, 6 disposals. Libby Birch on 6 for the Kangaroos. Of course, Kim Rennie and Erica O'Shea on 5 with Tess Craven for North Melbourne. Emily Everest, the leading disposal getter there for Hawthorn with 5 touches, 3 kicks, 2 handballs and 1 tackle. They'll just get rolling down there. Of course, everyone's sharing the ball a little bit out there this evening. Jenna Richardson on 4. Who else? We've got Alice O'Loughlin there for North Melbourne on 4 as well. We'll just keep rolling on down. Eliza West there for the Hawks on 3. Same with Laura Stone also for the Hawks on 3. For North Melbourne, Amy Smith, just the 3 touches there. 1 kick, 2 handballs. Talia Gatt on 3 also. There we go. So we'll just roll down there. We'll just have a little bit of a look at some of the team stats in just a second. After the opening term, because they'll be back in just a moment. North Melbourne already getting out to a handy 20 possession lead at quarter time, 79-59. And as you can see, folks, the inside 50s, North Melbourne dominating there after the opening term. 12 inside 50s for 5 scoring shots. Hawthorn have been inside 5 times, still unable to score. As I said before, they just need to compose themselves a little bit going down forward. Of course, the defence of North Melbourne are holding up really, really strong and not letting Hawthorn anywhere. 68% disposal efficiency is pretty good for North Melbourne, 62 for the Hawks. North Melbourne, they're 1 up on the hit-outs, but the clearances, North Melbourne are really good in this part of the game. They're 8-1 in the clearance section. The mid's doing really well. Of course, the centre clearances, North Melbourne have got both of those. 2-0 so far, and the stoppage clearances 6-1 North Melbourne's way. Contested, well, she's a pretty contested game, 31-30. It's just +1 to North Melbourne. Uncontested's +15. And of course, the turnovers +2 to Hawthorn, 19-17. Marks inside 50, as I said. North Melbourne looking certainly dangerous going inside their forward 50. They've got 3 marks already inside their forward 50. Hawthorn unable to hit their target, and they really need to capitalise when they're going down. The tackle count's still pretty good, though. As I said, it's a high contested game. 18-17 tackles. North Melbourne by 1 there, but Hawthorn, of course, down their forward line. 10 inside 50 tackles, so they're doing really good. Just 6 to North Melbourne. But North Melbourne looking really good at this present time. Of course, Hawthorn's throwing everything they can at North Melbourne at the moment. So let's get down to the ground and we'll see, we'll listen to Daniel Webster, see what he's got, the Hawthorn coach.
Things you'd largely concur with, Abby and Kate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Hawks' pressure early was relentless. I mean, North Melbourne, many more inside 50s, but to have 1 goal 4 to quarter time, I think Daniel Webster would be pleased with that. But the big thing that stands out is 8-1 in the clearance count. So if they can lift in the middle of the ground and get on top around the ball, that'll go a long way.
Liza West had a fly to try and change it. Fleming funneled it to Lucas Rod. Tripodi was cut down. Eventually it's West on the left. Right to Gilroy as the brollies and ponchos have been released here at Icon Park. The rain intensifying as Boyd slapped it forward. Ashmore took on 2 roos, was given enough time to get a possession. Coin to West. Garner stayed upright. Clever hand pass. Riddell back with a flight. O'Loughlin got contact as Elliott played the ball to Everest. Garner tried to shape the ball inboard for wall, but only found Erdley, who's got Smith inboard. Randall's lost the long sleeves at quarter time. Smith to Richardson with an extra hand pass for Sheriff. He'll be forced into a kick. Williamson got hands to it but couldn't mark. Paddled. Smith. Shannon again into trouble and again taken down. This time Ashmore.
Well, it's the multiple tacklers that are getting it done for Hawthorn. As soon as there's a player from the Roos that looks like they're out, if they shake the first one, it's the second Hawthorn tackler that's in.
Ashmore deep. There's confusion amongst the Roos, but eventually it's sorted out. Cool heads prevail. Experienced ones at that. Birch, Carney, and they're out for O'Loughlin again.
Just how quickly do they go from being under pressure to having that pressure released because they can find that mark. Beautiful ball use from Emma Carney there.
And now it's the Hawks shuffling back on transition. Provides Riddell space and an option in the form of Carney. Sheila, fist in Everest. As the volume in the legend stand goes up. Tonight's game, and free kick will go the way of the Hawks that North fans not happy about. Tonight's game and all 4 finals across the opening weekend of the 2025 AFLW finals being beamed into 135 countries. Wherever you are around the footy world, we hope you're enjoying what's been a great start. West gives it up. Ferguson with the intercept.
Just blaze away going inside forward 50. North, they're so well structured. They don't really sit a +1 behind, but they generate it quite comfortably. So if you're going to kick long and high, it's going to continue to be picked off by Ferguson behind the footy.
Boyd the bounce on the greasy turf. It turned into an inadvertent drop kick and intercepted by Smith for Hawthorn. Treats to Richardson. And the blood rule. Nash Riddell, who's got the claret, the nose and mouth that'll be attended to by the Kangaroos medical staff. Game high 9 possessions, averaging 37 across one of the more remarkable campaigns we've seen Still beggars belief how Ashredell wasn't drafted in the first place. No doubt will be prominent come AFLW best and fairest night as from the restart. Surprising that the Hawks had loose players. Gilroy receives from Elliott and gets moving. Ashmore, mark to Shannon. And Bodie's come in from the side. No 50 on that. Ben Webster watching on with his coaching staff. Call for a calm from umpire Seamus Dundon as we see a shot of Ashredell. Rennie and Randall worked it down to Tripodi. Eddie in the clear air, but missed O'Loughlin. Smith, Sheriff, under pressure, Flockhart, Fleming, cut down. North now getting to work tackling wise. Sheriff's boot to Williamson, besieged immediately. O'Loughlin first, and then it's Smith on Smith.
They're probably just overutilising the handball, aren't they? They're just transferring pressure, the Hawks, from player to player. In saying that, North are defending so well, Kate. I mean, there's no time and space for them to exit the contest easily.
That was hot, wasn't it? That's finals footy, that little passage of play. That is what we've come to see from both teams.
Early back to Fleming, hand in from Bruton. It was hard for Sheriff, not for Wall. Over the top, Sheila. What an aerial contest, but free kick on Richardson.
It was brave by Jenna Richardson. You knew that contact was coming. Not quite sure it was a free kick, though.
I'm going to go one further up. Yeah. That's not a free kick.
I was being blind. It was a great play on the ball by Sheila.
You have to allow a key forward to run and jump at the ball like that. That is what AFL footy is. If you're sitting under the footy, you're going to wear contact. It's not a free kick, though.
Clean take on the ball.
Yeah.
No chopping of the arms, nonetheless. Hawthorn into attack through Allen. Chaz Garner says no, no, no. Bolt meters gain, and look at that, on the move. Gat can keep running. Draw a hawk, give it to Eddie, and just like that, North are out the back. Fist Richardson, excellent on King. Allen under pressure, just got the kick away from the rampaging Wall. Corral was Williamson, and there's a snapshot of why North Melbourne are the standout in this league.
Wow, just the run and carry, taking grass, the pressure there. I mean, credit to Jenna Richardson once again to spoil that genuine 1v1, but gosh, they're good in their transition game.
Last of the Friday Melbourne sun dancing off the legend stand. Tripodi was into the back of West. And the Hawks have an advantage that they won't take. Kim Rennie with the only goal of the qualifying final, and that rainbow at the back of the legend stand may well have the 2025 AFLW Premiership Cup at its base. Eardley, out of space, Gilroy with the rainmaker. McDonough, Kraft to get to the front on Ferguson. Shannon headed for Riddell, who's returned to the fray. Rennie with the outside of the boot to O'Loughlin. Did the tackle linger from Vukic? Umpire says no. Flockhart, corkscrew of a ball. Trapped by the foot of Birch, but only as far as Lucas Rod. Gat got in the way of McDonough and then got a hand on it. Shannon was collected high. Every time Hawthorn get it in, Kate McCarthy, North Melbourne just find a way to absorb whatever's there.
And they've got just numbers around the contest. They just held up so well defensively. They don't have matchups that they like. They have positions of where players defensively want to sit. And they really don't go away from it unless you do something that makes them change or makes them second guess what they're doing.
Rain kicks into gear again for the second time in the second term. Kick from Stone inside 50. Roos with the numbers. Eliza Shannon claiming the mark, not paid, and the McDonough tackle will be rewarded.
Well, there you go, mark not paid. McDonough stayed in the hunt and ultimately won that free kick, but Hawks have had territory dominance. Let's have another look at it. Whoa. bit rough there, but Hawks have had territory dominance inside 50s this quarter, 7-1, so they need to be able to capitalise and apply some scoreboard pressure against this relentless North Melbourne defence.
The Hawks' best 21-18 this year for the 27-year-old from Ireland. Top 5 in the league for goals, but has kicked more behinds than any player in AFLW this season, and adds to that total here, to the Bronx cheers of the North Melbourne faithful, who aren't happy with how this free kick count looks in the qualifying final.
Can North get some territory here? Just said Hawthorn getting this ball in their forward half, but they're very good at wearing the contact and then just throwing a punch the other way.
Barber, Lachlan had a fistful of the jumper. Riddell missed the toe poke. And the heartening thing for Dan Webster is, even though that free kick's given away for a high one, every time there's a North Melbourne player, there seems to be 2 Hawks bearing down.
Holding their balance as well around that ground ball, so they're not all going in. They're just pressuring where they need to and coming in when it's their turn to go.
Barber, the wall contact. Gilroy, tumbling footy. Eardley did well to halve the contest on Birch. Sean Smith, left of screen. Started his AFL career with North Melbourne, hence the qualification for daughter Amy under the father-daughter rule to be with the Roos, and of course, for many, one of the greatest marks of all time in our sport for Melbourne in 1996. Eddie delegated to Craven. North get out, a rare one of that. Randall's got a 2-on-2 inside 50. Stretching back is Bo, who miscued. And she got a full chunk of the Sheridan with her fist. Emma King was on for a goal.
Credit to Najwa Allen, came off her direct opponent to be able to get across and impact, help out her teammate, because Bo had the jets on, was streaming back towards goal, and if she was able to get a clean collect of that footy, she was off.
Randall, Dell wanting a high one. Harrison Hughes, Alicia Ramsey, Seamus Dundon has mentioned our umpires tonight. Big month ahead for our officials. Raked out by Randall. West was stripped by O'Loughlin. Sheriff, claimed by Garner. Hawks get out. No, they won't. Came back to Stone from the Eddie smother. Garner couldn't wrench it free. Lucas Rod, Barber, North circulating. Sheriff, can she find a target? Ferguson in on McDonough. Tamara Smith. Bodie. McDonough. The Hawks need one clean possession to get out. Ferguson with a standover tactics. North into attack. O'Loughlin marks.
The concern is when you're playing a team like North Melbourne and you've got 7 inside 50s to 2, you've owned possession of the footy, but you've only got 2 behinds to show for it.
Anya McDonough still down, Kate. Have a look at this.
Head clash, I think it was, from Ferguson coming forward.
So Alice O'Loughlin, who's recovered from the lacerated liver. 9-5 from her 10 matches this season. And when it counts, the defending champs keep finding a way. So concerned, and rightly so, from the Hawthorn medical staff, their on-ground assessment of Anya McDonough, which would be both structural and then in relation to any concussion protocols. The North goal from just their 3rd inside 50 of the quarter.
This is a collision with Anya McDonough. It was a head clash from Ferguson, but this is how quickly they could turn things around. That turnover, they had +2 around the footy there. It could have easily gone then to King. They had numbers out everywhere. If we have a look at what she had to work with, just under 4 metres, but that's a concern. You're +4 for inside 50s, you're +22 for disposals, you're +15 for uncontested possessions, but you've got 1 behind to show for it. The other team goes down the other end and kicks a goal on the back of it.
And this is big. Nige, Anya McDonough, they're spearheading their forward half. I mean, coming off with the doctor in tow. No doubt they'll go down for further assessment. But great news to see McDonough re-sign with the Hawks until the end of 2027 this week.
And Mac Eardley and Nat Exon, the deepest forwards for Hawthorn. Is there a rejig for them in their front half to take advantage of what they've had supply-wise?
Nige, they're already so short on tools with the crisis that they've had, the carnage to their rucks this season. We saw Ellie Simons out of the team again, so they're really just fighting to try and find some tall timber out there.
Tamara Smith's kick intercepted by O'Shea. Half volley for Garner. Just slide free of Barber. Pressure was enough to mean that it only went as far as Stone. Chips for Barber. Wants the mark and gets walking on the knees. 1-2 with Everest. Barber's kick. The talent on show tonight to find Ashmore. So no McDonough, so Exon's the target. Fist Ferguson, Carney, Riddell. Rennie was the kicker. Fortuitously worked its way to Eddie from the smother, to O'Shea, overheads, and there's nothing beyond this piece of play. Randall couldn't quite go off the ground. Sheila tried to get out the back, now comes back to get involved. It gets to Bruton, who skipped it along the grass into the post. And a let-off for Hawthorn of monumental proportions.
How's the athleticism of Emma King? Not only one of the tallest players in the league, but can cover the ground. Just genuine speed in that 1v1 back towards goal.
Jenna Bruton to turn 30 tomorrow. The behind. Birch with the intercept. Seeking a 4th AFLW premiership at the end of the month. Headed for Wall. Bruton as far as West, and then has to just take it off her. Garner out the back to Riddell. King. Hands in Allen. Barbar against the clever Craven, who traps. Hand passes. King. Bogue. Across the face.
Got away with another one there, did the Hawks, and from Grace Barbar's perspective, just went to ground. I mean, Tess Craven, so experienced now within this North Melbourne outfit. It's a first-year player who opted, I guess, to go to ground, to go to the knees, and just needed to keep their feet.
One player that should get all the plaudits at halftime is Najwa Allen.
Oh, yeah.
She is having a phenomenal game, being flipped to defence to try and compete in the air, and she is taking care of that one-on-one really well.
Anya McDonough ready to come back onto the ground. Jazz Ferguson has been incredibly physical around the football in the last few minutes for North, and then put the elbow into Gilroy to get rid of her. So this is right where the game got away from Hawthorn 7 days ago. 3 minutes before half-time, 3 minutes after half-time. 4 goals, the margin went from 9 to 34 as Garner clears and Richardson marks.
This is finals footy though, isn't it, Kate? I mean, I feel tense up here. I don't know how you feel, but there is zero time and space from both sides. I mean, North Melbourne, they're made to work for every single disposal here, but when they get it, they've got 2 or 3 Hawks on their back.
Randall with the intercept. Boots it for the running Bogue. Can't quite keep it in. So you've both been there. What makes them so hard to play against?
Oh, well, just situations like that. You miss one kick and they go forward. They have an inside 50. They either maybe turn it into points or get an inside 50 stoppage from it. Every mistake that the opposition makes, they just make you pay for it, and they don't make their own mistakes going back the other way.
Lucky to have Andy Holmes and Kate McCarthy to articulate this one tonight as Eardley heads for Sheriff. And the Sheriff trying to give Craven a ride. So the former D with the sleeve on the left arm. There's a fair body language cue that that kick was heading to West. Eliza West with it. Team high 7 in the second quarter. Mara Smith, but all she can see are blue and white stripes. That's trickled out the back for the returning McDonough. Off to West. Hawthorn don't have anything resembling a forward line, though. West got it from Stone. Eardley. Hawks in reverse. Fumble from Ashmore. Amy Smith sweating on it. And it's case in point of how North are shutting down the Hawks.
And that's that brick wall defensive setup that we spoke about pre-game. I mean, Eliza West once again won the footy, but looks forward, and it was a 1v5 because North Melbourne just so strong in the way that they structure up behind the ball.
West clean, kick touch as you can hear. Birch, O'Shea accelerates. Bodie from the blind side can't close it down. Randall to the front. Richardson got to the right spot after Bogue got past the contest. The kick only as far as Garner, and now Bogue has a lottery ticket.
Thought we might have seen Bogue play on and run towards goal. We know how good the Irish players are at kicking on the run, but again, turnover, middle of the ground. The forwards for North get on their bike and they are out everywhere. Jazz Garner's not going to miss a kick like that to a forward out in space.
So the explanation from the umpire for Blaheen Bogue with the siren having gone as to what line she can take to goal. 21-9 for the season in the All-Australian squad in just her first year playing AFLW on a regular basis. The ball gets through for a behind that the Hawks probably could have made to be kept in play. But for all that said, not bulk damage for Hawthorn. 2-7 to a behind at half-time in the qualifying final. Kim Rennie 5 minutes into the first, Alice O'Loughlin 12 minutes into the second. Your goal kickers so far on the other side of this, Kate McCarthy, Abby Holmes and Kate Massey to break down what's happened in the first half of the first final of 2025, the 700th game in AFLW history, and at the moment it's all the Roos. They lead the Hawks by 18.
All right, there we go. Half-time, folks. Hey, Joseph, welcome in. Thanks, Teddy, for hanging on there. Tell you what, well, it's a little bit of a tight game. I know it's a low-scoring game, but finals footy, the pressure's really on out there this evening. 2-7-19. Hawthorn, well, they did score one behind. Of course, North Melbourne 1-3 in that second term. Hawthorn did reasonably well, hanging on. Look, I think Hawthorn, for the chances they've had, I think they'll be pretty happy. They're only 3 goals behind this fantastic outfit of North Melbourne. North Melbourne, as they said on the commentary, I'll tell you what, they certainly do make you pay. Hawthorn make a mistake, they make an error, they make a turnover. North Melbourne are quickly onto the ball and getting that ball forward fast and getting it down into their forward 50, giving themselves plenty of opportunities. The Hawthorn defence doing a good job there in that second term and all through the game so far. Can they just hang on, North Melbourne? Can Hawthorn hang on, I should say, just to this 18-point margin? Can Hawthorn slot a goal or two and get a little bit of momentum back, swinging their way? Tell you what, if North Melbourne end up getting the first or second goal in this third term, it's going to be a tough assignment for Hawthorn to peg the Kangaroos back, but we'll certainly see in the second half. The commentators will be back in just a moment, folks, with a little bit of a wrap-up of the opening half. While we're waiting, we're just going to have a look at the goal scorers, and of course, just the 2 goal scorers in this game. A low scoring, but it's a very contested game, this one. Kim Rennie and Alice O'Loughlin, both the single goal scorers there for North Melbourne. As I said, Hawthorn yet to open their account on the goals for this match. I want to hope Hawthorn certainly lift a little bit in the second half and get a few goals. Ash Riddell continues on a merry way, topping the tables on the disposal. Get out there. Tell you what, she's a star, isn't she? Ash Riddell there for North Melbourne. She's had 15 disposals, 7 kicks, 8 handballs. She's had 1 mark, 1 tackle, 2 clearances, doing really well. Eliza West, I should say, a bit of a tongue twister. Eliza West, she had a good second quarter there for the Hawks. She's up to 12, second on the disposal count out there at the moment. She's had 6 and 6. She's had a mark, a couple tackles and 3 clearances, so doing really well is Eliza West. Of course, Libby Birch going well too there for the Kangaroos. She's had 12 disposals, 9 kicks, 5 marks. So she's grabbing the ball out there reasonably well. And Jasmine Garner there out there with 11. Emily Everest on 10 also there for the Hawks with Gemma Richardson. And Tilly Lucas Rod on 10. They're the only double-figure disposal getters out on the ground. So just a 7 out there at the moment. I'll tell you what, it's a ring-a-ding-ding game here, folks. It's a little bit of a nail-biter. You keep thinking, oh, I'll tell you what, keep thinking when North Melbourne go forward, they're going to score. But the Hawthorn defence doing really well, and you just hope when Hawthorn get the ball going forward, they can score. They can certainly open that their account with that first goal of the qualifying final for Hawthorn, which will be good to see. And they'll get around each other. When that finally does happen, let's hope it's not too far away. Into the third quarter, when Hawthorn can manage that. 40-49, you reckon, Joseph? I think, I think North Melbourne will certainly take control of this game and probably run away with it. I think it'll be a reasonable margin like last time they met. Actually, last time they met was the last game they played of the home and away season. There we go. North Melbourne had a convincing win. As I said at the start, folks, North Melbourne did go into this as heavy favourites into this game, just about unbackable at 101. And, of course, Hawthorn were $13 to win this game. Looking at the disposal count, Hawthorn had more of the ball in that second term, trailing by 20 in the opening term. They go +3 in the disposal count at half-time. Of course, inside 50s at 19-13, +6 there to North Melbourne. All right, let's just head back down to the commentators. They'll give us a little bit of an analysis on the opening half.
We saw Anya McDonough go off with the doctor. It looked to be in quite a bit of pain, but glad to see that she was able to come back onto the game and have an impact later in that second term.
So the Hawks are making North Melbourne work for this one, but Kate, what is it you're liking about from North?
Oh, it's the way that they just take their opportunities. So if Hawthorn do make any errors, they're able to really just make the most of that error. We've seen multiple times they've turned the ball over in their front half in a really dangerous position, and Jazz Garner at times, Riddell at times, just feeding the ball back inside forward 50. This was the last 30 seconds of the first quarter, and this is just what North can do to you. You think the quarter's over, you think you've done everything you need to, and in the 30 seconds they take a mark, then they just wait. They wait for another option to open up, to just chain the ball from end to end with uncontested possessions. And up until this point in the quarter, Hawthorn had taken this away from them. And then all of a sudden, Emma King, one of their power forwards, takes a mark inside forward 50. So it's that 30-second switch off from Hawthorn. They'd done so well in the first quarter, but then they go end to end and haven't shot on goal as a result of that tiny switch off from them.
Now, Abby, the Hawks, they're certainly making them work for this one.
Oh, they are. They're doing a lot right, the Hawthorn Footy Club, and we know that they needed to be relentless with their tackle pressure coming into this game and be able to maintain that across 4 quarters if they're a chance here tonight. You need to remove the uncontested style that North like to play. So this is just a number of, I guess, their quality tackles around the ground. And Hawks, as I said, in that quarter alone, they won the inside 50 count 8-7. They were up on clearance 6-3. They were +10 in contested possessions, but they need to ultimately be able to transfer that to scoreboard pressure, which they haven't been able to do so far.
Yeah, they've got to score points, don't they?
Yeah.
They've done everything they can to stay in this game. Just the 1 point to show for it, though. They're going to have to kick 5 or 6 goals, you think, to win this game in the second half.
The pressure's certainly up in this game. If that's anything to go by, that will be happening in the other games this weekend. As we have a look, Carlton and West Coast tomorrow. Then it is Melbourne and Brisbane and Adelaide and St Kilda. It is a big round of football.
Oh, how good is finals footy? I mean, down here, pre-game, you can feel the nerves and the excitement and just the energy lifts, Kate, doesn't it? It goes to another level in finals, and it's certainly been on display in that first half.
Well, we've got another half of this one and 3 cracking games to come up across the weekend of AFLW finals, that is for sure.
Right, Kate, finally, what do the Hawks need to do in this second half?
They've got to score points. They really do. They need to maintain the rage, but they have to find an avenue to goal, that's for sure.
All right, we're heading to a break. We will have all the action in the second half coming up next.
All right, folks, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes' time with the third quarter. We'll be back in just a moment.
in Perth, and her Eagles see AFLW finals action for the first time tomorrow afternoon here at Icon Park. Carlton and the Eagles, 5th versus 8th elimination final one. 3 of the 4 finals this weekend being held here at Icon Park. The one that isn't is the Adelaide Crows and St Kilda on Sunday as the Saints make their first splash in the postseason. It will also be the 50th final played in the AFLW competition's history. The 700th match overall tonight is the first qualifying final. The North at the moment lead the Hawks by 18 points and the chance to walk up the stairs from terra firma back to the commentary box. Have you two managed to figure out a way how Daniel Webster and the Hawks can somehow, 1, score a goal, and 2, get themselves back into this game?
Yeah, well, I think what they've done so far has definitely been very competitive with North Melbourne, but the thing that concerns me, the North Melbourne Football Club, 2 goals, 7, so they've scored 19 points themselves. The Hawks just the single behind. So you've also got the 18 points you first need to make up to get your scores on the board, and then you need to kick more, obviously, to kick a winning score on top of that. So can they score enough points to win this game from here? I'm not sure, but what they're doing at the moment is definitely sticking it to North Melbourne and staying in touch with them.
It's an incredible run of North Melbourne as well, shooting for a 25th straight victory tonight. It's the 8th time in those 25 matches they've kept the team goalless to half-time. Rennie and O'Loughlin, the goal scorers to date for the Roos. Rennie begins in the ruck against Erdley to commence the second half. West was awake to Garner seeking Riddell, and as such the Hawks get the ball, but only a fleeting glimpse. Riddell's kick smothered, and the follow-up. Tamara Smith, West. Kick free from Stone. There to meet it, Carney. It was Allen who's had her praises sung tonight with the role she's executed. This coin comes off the line. Mark the Riddell kick that may well have been smothered. Bode galloping after it. Shape to kick, instead paused. Hand passed. Smith the takeaway. Drew Smith. Wall can find her left, or better still, Tripodi. Smith the tackle. Not in the back. Wall dotted it out. Bruton. Gat. Headed for Garner. Hawks with the numbers though. West. Stone. Kick smothered by Bruton from the Flockhart attempt. North keeping it in their grasp. Tripodi went wide and off the line for Gat, who stays afloat but gave it up. Erdley to Lucas Rod. It's been a busy first 2 minutes. Ashmore in pursuit, O'Shea. That'll draw applause from mum and dad. Mark to Erdley. And again, it's backwards seems to be the first thought for the Hawks.
And that's risky. I mean, they're looking lateral straight away. They're not even facing towards goal to see what's in front of them. So that's been obviously a clear directive, is to try and get speed on the ball and use that switch to shift North Melbourne's defence.
Elliott inboard for Gilroy. Clearing kick. McDonough flew, missed it. O'Shea manufactured a hand pass, but too late. West has it off 10 in the second quarter. Hawks to the arc, off the fist of Boyd. Bodie once, not twice. Carney. Rennie low down. Indecisive hand pass. Garner can clear the danger through Birch. Kick bounced and went towards Coyne. Can't quite pick it up. Eventually does. Into her back was Gat.
The change that they've made, obviously throwing Najwa Allen into the forward line, that's to just get some marking presence, you feel, in that front half. But it's going to take away from how good she's been defensively. And that's kind of been the story of the season for Hawthorn. They've had to move players around to cover injuries, to cover things that have come out of the team, and move them from positions they're playing really well in to try and get something else.
And that's always a challenge, isn't it? I mean, 6 unavailable on the list coming in this week. They had the 21 plus the 3 emergencies, so it's hard to draw on when you don't have that fitness and availability across your list.
What can the Hawks conjure here? The head of McDonough. Stone to Lucas Rod. Coyne stayed over it. Back to Stone. High ball. Allen. In from the side, Ferguson. Bodie bodied out of it. McDonough couldn't wrestle it anywhere. And as such, the Hawks double their score, and that's the O'Shea family watching on.
Love that.
Waving back to the icon big screen, and those who I'm sure are tuning in from their native County Cork.
I feel like neither of their travel plans would be to be out here for a month, considering how well North Melbourne are travelling currently.
I think they'd safely say November's taken care of. But still some work in the qualifying final. Riddell, Randall slams the kick. There is nothing beyond the speedy Sheila and Everest. Everest did terrifically well. Grasped it, and the release kick even better for Coyne, who could have maybe kept going. Riding shotgun, Lucas Rod, chipping ball. Boyd with the mark over the smaller West.
We talk about the depth of North Melbourne. That's a player that they've added to their team this year, and they've plucked her out of the VFLW. Every other team in the competition could have had Tessa Boyd in their team. North Melbourne saw her, put her into their team. She's played such a strong defensive post for them this season. And that's why their depth is well and truly on display in this competition.
Yeah, there's buckets of talent, but there's system to go with it. Carney, O'Shea striding free. Bogue brought it to the front. We'll come back to Bogue. Poked it up to Smith. Garner. Reefed out by Williamson. Flockhart's kick is to a dangerous zone. Rennie marks. Quick catch and release, and North could be on. Who's in the leading lane? Wall. Got a face full of Sharon, though. Fleming. Birch, courage in flight. Eyes never left the footy.
Oh, how cool is Libby Birch? I mean, that's her 7th mark across the game so far. She doesn't even look like she's breaking a sweat back there, but you can just see the confidence that they have in one another as that defensive unit, just to shift with whatever Hawthorn are trying to throw their way.
Boyd to Carney. Smith lost it. Garner. Bogue was an unexpected recipient. Clearing ball, Elliott. Bodie slammed aerially. O'Shea recovers. Carney. Ball came out. Smith. Ferguson wide for O'Loughlin, who's called to hold. Bogue and Sheila the deepest alongside Randall. They've got a string line of them. Eardley left her player. In comes Randall to Bruton. Caresses the kick. Coyne, the defensive wing, slides back.
How's the pickup from Randall there, and then the quick hands out to Bruton on the outside. Just elite.
It's 25 inside 50s to 15. Talia Randall has got the handles.
Some inside mids struggle to do that. It's your tall forward one-handed, picking it up and then getting out of trouble.
Brings the ball.
27, Talia Randall. There's a lot of footy to come still. The career arc at the moment is shooting high. 4 goals last week, and it's given North something to kick to tonight. This time takes it out of the ruck and got a big slice of it. Did you anticipate she could reach these heights after spending the early years with her at Brisbane?
Yeah, she was just a raw talent from day one. Had a little bit of developing to do as a key forward, which every key forward when they come into the competition does, and everyone in that first season had to do. But yeah, the way that they use the ball here, if you're a key forward that leads up at the footy, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the ball delivered to your advantage, and Talia Randall has been able to make the most of that.
Bird, Shannon, O'Shea, Craven down low. Comes out, Bodie, West, Fleming. Everything is in the face of hot pressure from the Kangaroos for Hawthorn. They just cannot get their breath.
And look at that pressure factor across the board. I mean, above 200 for both sides. You speak about taking your breath. It's very, very hard to do that when the heat around the ball is at that level.
Jenna Richardson with the intercept. Not a lot of movement though. It was from Gilroy to get over the top of O'Shea, who was trying to cut the angles. Gilroy cuts around her fellow Irish woman. It's for Allen. We'll get a look through the Riddell fumble. Body work from O'Shea. Splendid. And then the tackle as well. And the combat is favouring the Roos.
Gilroy just potentially a little bit slow to hit that kick. I mean, McDonough, beautiful lead through that central corridor. Had Najwa Allen out a little bit further. As we see Caitlin Ashmore in the hands of the physio.
Playing her 8th final tonight. We'll get an update from Kate Massey on that in a moment. As Vukic released the footy from the free. A tangle. Slammed out by Fleming, only as far as O'Shea. Lachlan couldn't craft a mark, but will craft a free kick out of Lucas Rod. So North get a chance to set things up. We'll get more on the Caitlin Ashmore situation in a moment. O'Loughlin inboard, chopped off. Well played from Elliott, who's been the birch for the Hawks. Shannon in. Bodie has not been gifted any space tonight as we head to Kate. Kate, an update on Caitlin Ashmore's condition? We'll come back to Kate in a moment. Sheelaw, Fleming shark the tap. Ball comes towards the line. Fleming ducked through the Tripodi tackle. Not the Sheelaw one though. So margin of 18 points. The Hawks quickly needing to find a major. Classic case of close enough, but good enough is a question that's lingered in the air for the last 24 opponents of North Melbourne. Holt spotted, and that helps the Kangas no end.
Yeah, it was a big push off the ball. Flockhart and Tripodi, they were going at it before the contest, but I think Tripodi just drew Flockhart in. The more experienced player drew into a big push off the footy, and it was a free kick.
Well, lengthy pause, and that allows Flockhart in on Tripodi. O'Shea again, one of her best AFLW matches tonight. King hands to it. Sensational row from O'Loughlin. And pass fished out. Everest. Curling ball. O'Shea again. She is everywhere. Ball pummels into Gilroy. And then took Lucas Rod high.
Emily Everest down behind play has not moved since Talia Randall just laid a strong challenge on her as she was kicking that ball out of the back half. As we see a replay of it here. That's the contest with O'Shea, further up the field, but it was a big clash. Tackle on Everest as she went to take the kick, but I think it was still in the motion of having a kick, but she'll come off for some assessment in the hands of the doctors now.
Everest has had some really crucial moments with Sheila in this third term as well, so fingers crossed there's nothing too concerning with Emily Everest and they can get her back out.
And the dearth of tools that the Hawks have at either end now gets exposed even further.
Yeah, so they've had to move Najwa Allen from that defensive post to try and invent something ahead of the footy. Now do they have to go back to shifting Allen to the defensive post once more?
Lucas Rod, low down kick. Garner eventually will get hands to it, not quite. It's been that sort of night for Jazzy. Stone's ball. McDonough missed it. O'Shea has not missed anything. Ball security. Can't take it out. Is there enough on it for a holding the ball call? It's not the case. Erica O'Shea would play her 50th AFLW game in a grand final. That's the free kick, or incident, Randall on Everest. I wonder if there'll be more assessment of that. Meanwhile, Randall can mark in front of Stone. And North consents a blow. Randall to Eddie. Shannon, top of your screen, working inside 50. Eddie heads to the other side. King couldn't quite outpoint Richardson, who now receives. O'Loughlin, Garner, maybe had the agency to kick. Riddell. Eventually out. Elliott, Fleming desperately wants an option to kick to. It was McDonough in on Birch, Allen, West, back to Allen, back in the front half, but overcooks the kick. Carney can pick this up. Could have headed backwards, instead looked to dribble it. Just got through Najwa Allen. If she had have taken that ground ball, that was a huge opportunity for the Hawks.
That's what they need more of from Jazz Fleming, is just tucking the footy under your arm, taking grass, taking ground, and trying to drive the ball forward with your legs, because so far throughout this third term, Kate, North have just forced Hawthorn into that long kick and hope down the line.
That's the exact opposite to how you want to use the footy against North Melbourne too. You've touched on it so many times tonight, Abs. Their defensive setup behind the footy. If you don't move them, they won't move. And they'll sit there and pluck every kick-off that comes in long and high that you want.
Vukic, Hawks into attack. Craven missed the mark. Out the back, Bodie. Carney, tossed it to Garner. O'Shea, Eddie, under pressure. Hawks can sense a moment. Williamson, finds space. Can't find Erdley. Shannon off the ground and to ground. Craven, Garner, Barber nicked it up cleverly. Garner fighting and then paddling it away from McDonough to Craven, and somehow the Roos again find the keys to the city. Here comes Wall. Couldn't take it on Sheriff, but will tackle. The ball's popped free. It's in the back. Kate Massey, what's the Caitlin Ashmore status?
Yeah, Caitlin Ashmore has hurt her calf. She's been spending a bit of time on the bike. She's still off on the sidelines. Em Everest as well. She's just gone down to the rooms.
Laura Elliott's the latest of the Hawks with an issue. It's be an awkward landing. A tangle of legs of sorts.
Concern for Caitlin Ashmore. She's had a lot of soft tissue injuries over this season and last season. Missed round 4, 5 and 6 with that hamstring this year. Been on the bench for quite a long time now. They tried to get it moving on the bike. I'm not sure if that looks great from that perspective.
It's Elliott now coming from the ground in the hands of the trainers as well, so we'll have another look at it. But running off the ground, Nige, which is always a good sign, but still concerns for the Hawks.
With 2 minutes to play in the third. Bodie, West, it's go time for Hawthorn. Flock out to West. Did the tackle linger? Not the case. Garner clearing ball. And the King pops up at the right time. Shares to Gat, who sprints free of the Hawks and their finals aspirations. Sheelaw to Gat, kept the arms free. Put it into the left. King will leave it for Tripodi. Sliding through Garner. Hawthorn have been awake to her talents all night.
Just haven't been as clean as you expect from North Melbourne tonight. Yes, there's been such great pressure from Hawthorn, but so many times going inside forward 50, they've missed a handball or they've dropped a really easy chest mark that has been uncharacteristic from them. 2 goals, 8. Another reflection that they're just a little bit off tonight, you feel. Still good enough to be up by 18 points, but haven't been as clinical tonight.
Barber's kick over Birch and Bodie. Birch leaves it for Ferguson. Shannon, not a good kick. McDonough against O'Shea's a massive ball to win, and O'Shea has won everything that's come her way tonight. Wall flies, as does Craven. Smith for the Hawks. Right ball, whistle, off ball. We'll come back to fix the Roos. Another Hawk down.
No.
It's McDonough.
Just grabbed at that right knee straight away as well.
May have been contact.
Fingers crossed.
From O'Shea. We might have a look at it from another angle again, but only McDonough can put no weight on it. She had to, of course, knock a bit earlier on in the game. So here's another look.
It's that knee on knee.
Contact maybe to the inside of the right.
This is carnage at the moment for Hawthorn. They've got McDonough It's coming off the ground. Everest, who's in the rooms doing a HIA. Laura Elliott, who came off only about a minute ago. And then Caitlin Ashmore, who's been questionable for this whole third term. So they are running out of rotations.
And the injury woes have been apparent through the season. Emily Bates, of course, their skipper, unavailable tonight, and hopes that she could return, but so much of it depends on how far the Hawks can go. Volume up.
Yeah, so what's happened here, behind play, Emma Carney was trying to get the crowd involved, and then behind play, Greta Bodie's just dropped the shoulder. I dare say there's probably not a whole lot in this with the way that Emma Carney went down that quickly. We'll have to wait for a replay, but it was definitely off the ball. If you just see at the lower frame there, Bodie just bumped her. Went down fairly easily, I would say. But
Not a hell of a lot in that one.
earned herself the free kick.
One of those ones when you can't brace. Well, it doesn't look like there's much in it. There's enough to put you down. Just quickly mentioning that the Hawks have done a good job of dulling Jazz Garner's influence. She does have a game-high 21 possessions. Says a bit about her wizardry. Ferguson, dropped the mark. North fans not happy with the state of things inside the fence, and we've got sparks and embers at three-quarter time of the qualifying final. Jess Vukic amongst it all. Matt Girdley calls for them calm, and there'll be some calm in the Roos camp as well, who are one term away from a 25th straight victory and a place in a preliminary final. At three-quarter time at Icon Park, in the first qualifying final, the minor premiers lead by 18 points.
All right, three-quarter time. I tell you what, that was hard going, hard slog for both teams there. Just the defensive of both teams. Really good. Both teams only being able to kick one behind in that third term. Look, it's still anyone's game. It's only 3 goals in it, but the trouble is Hawthorn have been unable to kick a goal, and they've only had 2 scoring shots. North Melbourne 10 scoring shots. Hawthorn, tell you what, they're going down like 10 pins. They're getting injured, some of their players. As I said, they already had about 3 there, one with a HIH, one going down with a knock of the knee, another one copping a whack. I tell you what, well, there we go. That's footy, that's finals footy. Pressure. Can North Melbourne go on to 25 straight wins, keep that run rolling, or can Hawthorn do an absolute miracle? Tell you what, it's going to be hard to see that happening, but you just never know, folks. 3 goals is the margin here at three-quarter time. North Melbourne, look, they just look strong out there, North Melbourne. Although Hawthorn, I tell you what, they've given it everything they've got out there tonight. Their pressure's been absolutely fantastic. So you can't doubt them in that way. Let's just... look, there's no point having a look at the goal scorers because that hasn't changed. The disposal getters, Jasmine Garner for North Melbourne, up to 21. Fantastic 3 clearances. She's had Ash Riddell on 20. They're the only 2 in the 20s at the moment. Both, of course, from North Melbourne. Eliza West tops the table there for Hawthorn on 19. Tilly Lucas-Rod starting to creep up with 17 disposals, also with 5 tackles, 5 marks. She's going pretty good as well. Laura Stone on 16. Libby Birch there for North Melbourne. Up to 16 touches at three-quarter time. Emma Kearney on 15 as well. Opry City, hey, shouty, how you doing? Yeah, if you wanted to find Tine, I haven't spoken to Tine for a while, so you'll find her on that link there because I think one of her channels got deleted off YouTube, so she's over there on her sister's channel at the moment. Pretty much live every day, every night. There we go. Eliza Shannon up to 9 disposals. Tyler Gadd on 9. And, of course, Tass Craven on 9 as well for North Melbourne. We'll be back in just a moment with the final quarter here. Who's going to go on to the next final? I think is it the elimination final? Whoever wins that game. Don't forget, folks. Don't forget. Let me just put that back over there on the scores. Don't forget, more action from AFLW. The finals coming up, of course, we've got tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That's Carlton taking on the West Coast Eagles. Absolutely fantastic game that will be. And of course, Sunday, we've got a couple of big games with a couple of big teams in there. Melbourne playing the Brisbane Lions, a second qualifying final. And of course, the other game on Sunday, which will follow that game, is Adelaide taking on St Kilda over there in Adelaide. So got some fantastic games coming up. Still 3 more games coming up over the weekend in AFLW football action finals. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding. I tell you what, the game tomorrow between Carlton and West Coast Eagles, that's going to be a classic game. I don't know who's going to win that game. I'll probably go for West Coast Eagles in that game, I would say. Good to see them finally making the finals. For once, I think that could be their first finals appearance. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they were saying last week. And of course, Melbourne and Brisbane playing that in Melbourne. You would think Brisbane should be too good, though the defeated premiership team last year, and of course the premiers the year before that. Of course, North Melbourne won the flag last year, and of course Adelaide, who are a pretty strong side, you would think they would get up over St Kilda, but St Kilda have been going reasonably well as well. As I said, we've still got 3 more fascinating games to come. AFL football action over the weekend, so certainly going to shape the finals. We'll see what team gets the week off and who's going to play next week for a chance to play the opposing sides for the shot in the grand final. All right, let's head back down to the ground. We're heading into the final quarter here. It's the Kangaroos by 18 points. Let's head back down to the action.
Their 25th consecutive victory. And Kate Massey, the Hawks have got some holes to plug.
Yeah, a bit of injury carnage in that quarter. 4 key players. Caitlin Ashmore, she has hurt her calf. She came off. She was on the bench for most of that quarter. She spent some time on the bike, but it does not look good for her heading into this quarter. Elliot, she was having her chest assessed. There's no update there yet, but Em Everest was the 3rd with an HIA currently underway. She's actually just running past us back out here now, so hopefully that is good signs. And the last one was Anya McDonough with a knee injury. She was getting strapped up, so hopefully that's also good signs, but she did look like she was in quite a lot of pain, guys.
She's just started to run off the bench, having had the taping job completed, and will remarkably start the final quarter on the ground. Tripodi won't get the first touch. Instead, will put it into Hawk hands. Free kick to Stone. Margin is only 18. Been a hold on Gilroy. Bodie. No kick in that. There is for Garner. Back with a flight went Smith. Pushed out of it by Bruton. Wall decided to go off the ground, and with good reason. Here's Randall. Inboard. Bruton with a follow-up. Brilliant play. 2 possessions in the chain, and they are gold-plated. King over the top. Bode, the Roos in cruise control. And they can just do things other teams can't. And it's repeat business as well. Blaheem Bogues on the scoreboard for the first time tonight after a behind in the second quarter.
Transition there from Bruton. I mean, the kick off the ground, just out into space with Randall, but that's the transition piece from defence to attack for Bruton. Very composed, just over the top to King, who drew the defender. And that is Boat, who goes through and kicks another one for North Melbourne. Their first of the second half, and their 22nd for the year, if you don't mind, for Boat.
And that kick there, how she finished it off, is how you know she's not a native to AFL football. If you grow up on footy, you send that into the back of the grandstand, Nigel. You kick it as hard as you can.
Looking after the officials came back. Unlike you, one day in southern Queensland, you put a ball in another suburb after. Was it your goal of the year when you took about 32 bounces?
Oh, I don't know.
I remember it.
I don't think I can kick 32 metres. So.
There's a couple of people in the shot we saw in the crowd. One's happy, Luke Parker, now of course Saru, former Swans great. Rob McCartney, the Hawthorn GM of footy, was left of screen in the brown shirt, looking nonplussed with
on, Birch.
What his team are up against and what they're up against is a juggernaut.
What a game from Birch. I mean, there's still a quarter to go, Nige, but you've touched on it. Just the intercepting queen out there for the North Melbourne side this afternoon.
The data's been very positive across the league this season for defensive 50 to inside 50 chains, and chief amongst that rise has been North Melbourne and their ball use. Not on this occasion, though, as Gilroy takes the intercept. The margin at 24. Can they quickly peel back the boat? Goal. McDonough. Miraculous recovery. And now the knee gets the ultimate test.
It does look proppy on it, but has done enough there to just work her opponent out of the way, takes the mark. To say this is necessary is an understatement, Nige.
Daniel Webster coaching from the bench. McDonough hits the post to Kate Massey with updates on the issues in the Hawks camp.
Yeah, guys, as you can see, there are a few who are back out there. Everest, who's past that HIA. McDonough, obviously, and Elliott, they're both good, but Caitlin Ashmore, she's the one that they're still watching with that calf injury.
That's it.
Wide and out for Birch. Taken down was Gap. Free kick advantage. It has to be a big one for Bodie. Gilroy marks. Ferguson will have to come back a couple of steps.
She's a big kick, Aileen Gilroy. The only thing will be that natural arc.
2 steps to the right. It's not straight enough. McDonough gets down. Couldn't punch it out.
So Daniel Webster there. This is better from the Hawks, isn't it? Look at those inside 50s early, 4-1. A couple of good looks at goal.
Riddell took Stone on, released the ball to the boundary.
Laura Stone has been impressive this year. In the absence, of course, of Emily Bates, I think unlucky maybe not to make the 22 under 22. I know it was a tough job, Kate, or obtain a Rising Star nomination, but she certainly is a rising star in this Hawthorn outfit.
17 tonight for Stone, averaging 12 a game this season. O'Shea rewarded for the tackle on Jazz Fleming, who, Abby, you had eyes on Jazz Fleming pre-game. We can see the heavy taping on the right knee, that the legacy of the round 1 injury.
Yeah, I was watching Jazz Fleming closely in the warm-up, and she did spend some time down in the room. She came from the ground with the physio, so every time she's come from the bench, she has received some kind of work. So that will also be a watch for Hawthorn in the week to come. West
Missed Fleming, but Stone was there. West again, back to Stone. But again, the Hawks under siege. Garner finds a way to get a kick out, and straight off the bench, Eddie, and into the action. Richardson got it to Williamson. The kick only as far as Boyd.
Just relentless with this intercept marking game, North Melbourne. Just getting the job done at the source and then putting Hawthorn under so much pressure when they use the footy, kicking long down the line straight to their numbers.
Eddie in the high percentage zone. Randall from the side, got a hand to it. Allen. Smith. Foot on ball.
How athletic was that from Talia Randall? She was just floating through the air. Only went with the one hand to just affect the spoil. And then you think back to the third term as we have a look at it here. Think back at that one-handed pickup from ground ball as well from Talia Randall. She can do it all.
Thirdly to West. Craven closing in on Williamson. Did enough to impact the kick. Shannon playing with the ground ball. Tripodi for Randall, who nearly got 2 hands to it. Denied by Richardson. Only as far as Rennie, who's kicked 1 tonight. Gilroy into space. Flocker. Will the kick get beyond Gap? Barber from the other side. Did the body work well. Couldn't finish. The most important bit. North fans not happy with the lack of frees. Away goes Flocker. Floaty ball. Gilroy. It somehow bounced away from her grasp to Craven, but it won't matter. Aileen. Long kick for Anya. McDonough marks. The knee. It's not fully functioning, but it's good enough. Barber was a bit casual. McDonough taken down. Eddie. Garner. From the back of the square for sheer law. Little nudge from Allen. Did just enough. Here's Wall slamming through with a smother. Gives it up for Bruton, who's left her own devices. We've got a boot in. Sheila couldn't pick it up. Umpire thought about the free kick against Smith. It won't matter. Wall to Bode. It's Randall v. L&D.
Another great effort there by Najwa Allen. Started back, went forward to try and create forward of the footy. Has now been sent back as well, but how's that smother from Wall first and foremost, just to keep that ball locked inside North Melbourne's forward half.
With 10 minutes left in the first qualifying final. Back here tomorrow for Carlton and West Coast in the first elimination final. Leslie couldn't take the grab. West was able to extract. Stone, as Abby mentioned, has had an excellent showing for the Hawks. Gilroy, Shannon after her. McDonough, Williamson. Shannon was desperate and never gave up the chase.
That's the endeavour of the North Melbourne defenders. If you beat them once, you're not going to beat them twice. And Williamson, you've got to praise the endeavour, the want to try and turn this game around and get something going, but you've also got to be aware that against North Melbourne, you're probably not going to have that time and space with the footy.
Bruton to Craven, Randall created rather than protected the space. Allen the free to a chorus of boos, Everest. Randall still might get hers, was just a metre away from Everest as she kicked and headed for coin. O'Shea was careful not to get her high and now gets the rewards. Back from Gat. And Allen dealt with North forward deep, and it'll be a 50. There's a bit happening off the ball as well. O'Shea and Coyne now, the latest of the Hawks to not pull up well from the contest. She's just at the back of shot. Hawks into attack. Craven free kick. Only one with eyes on that contest.
Spot fires everywhere out there. It's really ramped up. We saw the push and shove at three-quarter time. There's a fair bit going on. We're calling this one of the new age rivalries in the AFLW, and it's well and truly living up to that with some of the stuff that's going on off the ball here.
Craven, O'Loughlin, Carney, back to Craven. Such an important link role for North. And a decision maker as well. O'Loughlin got a bit casual to finish things off. Tackled by Vukic. Bruton to Craven. Around the arc into the hands of Sheila. Others got to release her. Tripodi's maybe an option for Sheila sideways. Instead, Sheila takes the runway. Gets through hands, and Allen can see it between goal and behind post. So right now, Darren Crocker and his coaching staff, I'm sure we'll be able to pocket some minutes out of this and remarkably find room for improvement. It's like finding faults in a Van Gogh or a Picasso.
I think they'll review this one a little bit more vigorous. Knives, they haven't quite hit the heights that we've seen from them. Little mistakes here and there. It's mainly been in their front half as well. Drop chest marks and the like.
Tripodi, no dropping that for Randall. Eventually gets her moment, and you feel for Najwa Allen, who's had such a night. And there's a multi-purpose option for Daniel Webster. The shuffle of the magnets and the injuries in the Hawks camp has meant she's had to stand Randall on this occasion, and that's quite the task.
You know, for me, Allen's been the best player on the ground for the Hawks, and you look at her stat sheet, you might think, well, why would that be the case? But just those one-on-ones. Yes, Randall gets her on this occasion, but she has fought and scrapped for everything in that one-on-one.
Talia Randall for her 23rd of the campaign, and North have got a booking in a fortnight. One thing they will be comfortable enough with is just how many of their tools have had books tonight. Emma Kings had flourishes. Talia Randall now with a goal. Kim Rennie kicking a major. It's been the sum of all fears with North Talls for the Hawks.
Well, Tripodi just getting ball to boot, sending it to a really dangerous spot where you know that Talia Randall is going to be. It's a clear 1v1, and you touched on it, Kate Nudler. Allen hasn't done much wrong out here tonight, but when you're in a lockdown one-on-one with Talia Randall, who just knows how to protect the space and read the drop of the ball so well. Easy chest mark into goal.
Nearly 4,500 here at Icon Park to start the AFLW final series. 700th match in league history. And North look like they'll once again leave Royal Parade very happy for the trip back to Arden Street. Garner with the free, the clearance, and Bruton.
Got a good connection, those two. Linking up, forward of the footy. Jazz Garner delivering the ball inside forward 50 yet again.
Bruton just pulls the kick. Sheila found space, but also found point high. Unnecessary from Everest to come in the aftermath.
What was that kick from Bruton, though? Just told Sheila exactly where she wanted her to go. That's the free kick, definitely there.
Intercept to Garner. Gets creative. Sheila. King missed it. Riddell somehow out into space. Off to Eddie with a snap. What a magnificent team they are. Just doesn't get much more reliable than what they're able to produce. The understanding of someone will always be there, whether it's offense or defense. And that time Bella Eddie was the beneficiary.
Well, it's a nice luxury to have when you've kicked 5 goals, 10. You've dropped maybe 5 or 6 chest marks inside your forward 50, which could have resulted in more shots on goal, but you still look at the scoreboard and you're 37 points up with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in the qualifying final. Hasn't been as clinical as we've come to see from North, but they've got the job done, and that's what they continue to do week in, week out.
And at the moment, we've got Hawthorn on 3 behinds in the qualifying final, which will be the lowest score an opposition has kicked in the 25-match win streak. What a stage to do it on.
It's the defence where they've done all the work tonight. We've seen games where they've just put on a show in attack, as we see. I think it will be 50 against Bubba, but we've seen them time and time again put on these attacking displays just late on that contact, but tonight it's just been a defensive display. Their defence has been so well set up behind the ball. They've scrapped and fought for everything, and yes, haven't been as fluent ahead of the footy, but still scored 40 points.
How about Erica O'Shea's night? 20 possessions, an equal team height, 9 ground balls, and 412 metres gained. Yardage added here. Wall couldn't mark. Amy Smith. Exon. Put it to West. Brogue almost got there. Flockhart. North with the numbers in the right spots. Birch. Brody got past her. Carney took just enough possession to release Ferguson, and even there was time for Smith to get that kick that went to her left shoulder. Finds Riddell. Riddell's 24th of the qualifying final. Sheila. Riddell loads up again, and there's space, and Rue's in that space everywhere. Rennie, O'Shea, only thing she hasn't had tonight to goal, instead return provider for Craven.
Heavy the touch on the kick there from O'Shea to Craven. Teammates getting around her, and rightly so. They're off to a prelim, but this is how quickly the scoreboard can get out of hand when you take on North Melbourne. I mean, 5 goals 10, 3 goals 2, probably in the last 7 or 8 minutes or so.
And the O'Sheas can flick through some tourist brochures and see the best of Australia.
They've got a week off
for the next 14 days. See you in a couple of Fridays. Kate, you probably one of the early adopters of just how important Tess Craven is for North.
Oh, she is just one of their most important players, and to be honest, the way that they all play their role, they are important to the team dynamic, but her ability to use the ball inside forward 50 and then do this, run defensively as well, is just paramount to North.
A couple of XDs combined, West to Sheriff. Craven now playing defence. West gets in between the two roos, but dragged down by Bodie, and has had a rough night at the office. He's lying down as Riddell gets away, but no kicks. Only as far as Smith, that goes to Lucas Rod. Pointed deep by Exon. Kick gets to Elliott, who's recovered. Barber made a contest on Ferguson, but North, what defensive understanding they have. Clearing ball, Shannon. Bowe went to ground. Elliott. Ferguson left her opponent and left the Hawks chewing dust. Garner the king, and there's Roos flying forward. Bowe can get it on the bounce, go with the outside of the right. Shearlaw was staring at Everest, who went the punch off the ground. It's through Bowe, but it won't get through Amy Smith. Slow pick up to Shannon, and North pressing their front half again. Eddie Richardson. Can't question a lot of what the Hawks have done defensively tonight. It's just this part that time and time again has let them down. Eddie, a raffle, Tripodi, casual effort in the dying seconds, but Ruby Tripodi has once again been a core component in midfield tonight. 12 possessions, 8 tackles.
Unless Hawthorn can find a score, this will be the second week in a row that Talia Randall has outscored the Hawks on her own. 4 goals to 2 last week and a goal to 3 behind this week.
Lucas Rod, Barrel, Exon, Smith, Liddy Birch. Might as well take the Sharon home with her.
That's her 10th mark for the evening, 5 of those intercepts.
So North with 2 weeks to set themselves for a preliminary final. The most likely scenario is one of Brisbane or Melbourne, but there's plenty of pursuants in elimination finals who will like their chance to chase. The Arden streak is at 25. What a colossus this North Melbourne team is. The average margin in their 24 victories coming in tonight was 45 points. Yes, they're a kick under that at 39, but Hawthorn on 3 behinds kicked the lowest score against the Roos in that 25-win sequence. And again, North Melbourne's class rises in the most important games.
This is just one of the most dominant teams that we've seen in any sport across the country. I mean, 25 consecutive wins. Their lowest winning margin has been 29 points so far in 2025, and they've continued on their winning ways.
Jazz Garner, I'd imagine, will be one proud captain. She's with Kate Massey.
Well, Jazz, 25 wins in a row, but it's more than that. You're through to another preliminary final. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels pretty good at the moment. I mean, it was a hot game, good fight, but yeah, so wrapped. Get the week off now and yeah, go again.
A dominant win in the end, but do you feel like they made you work for it more than any other team this season? You've certainly done a number on a few.
Yeah, I think it's the way teams are going to throw different things at us. I think they high pressure, throw numbers at the footy, but I think we keep them to 3 points. That's pretty impressive by us. But yeah, we know teams are going to throw different things at us, and it's just the way we adapt to that, and we're up for the challenge.
The week off now. Where do you watch the other finals if you do, and what will you do in that time?
Yeah, I'll definitely watch. Love turning on TV and watching the footy, so I'll watch and see what happens. But yeah, chill out, relax, prep for what's to come, and yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, songs ringing out yet again, 25 times in a row. All the fans here supporting you. How incredible are they?
Oh, it's awesome. And we could really hear them tonight. They were, getting up and about. The North Melbourne chant was going in the end. And, it's just so good to be back playing finals footy.
Good luck. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Jazz Garner. So, Kate, Abby, in the 100 quarters they've played in this 25 wins, they've kept their opposition scoreless in 53 of those 100 quarters.
It's remarkable.
Or goalless, sorry. It's just crazy.
It is remarkable. And you look at this side, there is hardly any chinks in their armour. I mean, their defensive structure and their setup tonight, that was the real MVP, just their ability to intercept. Libby Birch, we've sung her praises, but rightly so. She was phenomenal out there tonight. But the intercept game and then their ability to spread and work for one another across the entirety of 4 quarters, it's just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, their defence gets a huge tick tonight. Attack can tidy up a few things, but defensively, absolutely as solid as a rock.
Well, it was dinner and a show for the O'Shea family tonight. Daughter Erica has had an amazing qualifying final, and she's with Kate Massey.
We're just discussing how good she looks after a big game of football. Your family is here watching on. They've come over from Ireland. How incredible is it to have them here?
It's amazing. I suppose being away from home is really hard, and having your family here is really special, especially to win tonight. And yeah, it just means a lot to me.
Now they're here for the month. Hopefully they're going to see you play in a grand final. Were they here last year? What is it like to be able to spend that time with them?
Yeah, so they actually made the grand final last year too, which was amazing. I suppose I'm really lucky that they were able to come out, and they're here now for the month. So if we make the grand final, hopefully they'll be front row. So
you certainly put on a show yourself for them tonight. Did you feel like that they inspired you a bit further to push in front of them?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose I wouldn't be where I am without my parents and my family. So it definitely gave me a bit of fire tonight, 100%.
A little bit more inaccurate as a team tonight. What do you need to work on heading, obviously a week off now, but heading into that preliminary final?
I suppose we take every game as it comes, and tonight we're going to reflect on, I suppose, some of the things we did, we could perfect a bit more, I suppose, kicking and basic skills like that, and reevaluate for the next game and bring a bit of flair the next time too.
Now you got the week off. Do you celebrate tonight at all? What do you do after this with your family?
I reckon we'll go for dinner maybe, but it'll probably be a late one. But as a team, I'd say we're probably going to settle ourselves and hopefully build it up for the grand final.
Well done. Go enjoy the win.
Thank you so much.
So it's show and dinner, not dinner and a show, as it turns out for the O'Shea family, who I dare say their passports will be confiscated because daughter Erica has lifted with them present tonight. So that's how the finals tree looks at this stage. North through to a prelim. The first of our qualifying finals done. The second of them is back here at Icon on Sunday. 3 fantastic finals to look forward to across the weekend. Chief amongst them, Carlton and the Eagles back here tomorrow. Tess Craven's Pump. North have won 25 straight. We hear them sing the song on the other side.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. We'll be back to listen to the girls sing the same theme song after the short break. The commentators, before we wrap this up. Hey, Joseph, 40-49. You got North Melbourne score pretty right there at 42. Let's just duck over quickly and have a look at the goal scorers, possession getters. The goal scorers, of course, today, all coming from North Melbourne. Hawthorn, unfortunately, didn't get a score. A major score on the board, but Kim Rennie, Talia Randall, LSO Lachlan, Bella Eadie, and of course Blaitland Bogue, all single goal scorers there for the Kangaroos. I tell you what, they're going to look mighty tough to beat whoever they play for the rest of the season. There we go. Eliza West, though, for Hawthorn, she jumped to top of the table on 27 possessions. She gave it all tonight for the Hawks. She had 9 kicks, 18 handballs, 3 marks, 5 tackles, 4 clearances. And, of course, Ash Riddell, Jasmine Garner, top of the table there for the Kangaroos on 26. So they did well there. I'll just roll this down. Libby Birch had 21 there for the Kangas, as did Tilly Lucas-Rod for the Hawks on 21 as well. There we go. If you've got one of your favourite players there, you can check them out or let me know who you want to find for you, and we can check out their stats. Otherwise, I'll just keep rolling this down and you might be able to find your player there. There we go. There are the player stats. Quick look at the team stats. Of course, North Melbourne got on top. They were plus 26 in disposals overall. Inside 50s, dominant display there by the Kangaroos. 44-27 instrumental there. 17 more. Wow, that's a fair bit of difference, isn't it? 69-64%. Both teams going above average on disposal efficiency. Free kicks, Hawthorn had the better of that this evening. 20-14, they were plus 6 when things were certainly going Kangaroos' way. Hawthorn got on top there. But the Kangaroos, they won the hit-outs 18-13. And, of course, the clearances, Hawthorn came back after quarter time. 17-15, it was North Melbourne plus 2 there. Hawthorn, surprisingly, won the centre clearances. There we go. 5-3, they were plus 2, but the Kangas around the stoppage were 14-10. It was a great contested game, of course, this evening, 118, 111. The Hawks won the contested ball, but the uncontested North Melbourne just controlled it. They were plus 33 there, plus 7 with a contested to the Hawks. There we go. Looking at the marks, with that uncontested ball, North Melbourne certainly found their target well. They were plus 14 in the marks. Marks inside 50. They did a fair bit of damage there, didn't they, North Melbourne? 9-2, plus 7. Poor old Hawthorn could only manage 2 marks inside forward 50. Looking at the tackle count, of course, with a couple of players not feeling the best, a little bit injured, North Melbourne certainly got on top in the tackle count. They were plus 16 there. But tackle count inside forward 50 when this just loads back up. Why it keeps doing that. 19-16, so it was great pressure by both teams with the tackle count. But, yeah, North Melbourne 12 above, 20% above average there on their tackle count for the season. Fantastic effort. And just before we head back to the commentators, don't forget 3 more games coming up, the elimination finals tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Carlton taking on West Coast Eagles, and then Sunday Adelaide taking on St Kilda, and of course the other prelim final is Saturday at 1 o'clock. Melbourne taking on the Brisbane Lions. So we've got some good games still to come your way over the weekend, folks. So stay tuned for those. And certainly I'll try and bring some of those games to you. So just stay tuned for those. And then we'll have the rest of the finals, of course, next week and the week after. And we'll see who will take out this year's premiership, AFLW. I tell you what, my money's certainly on North Melbourne. They just look strong. They look confident. Whenever they play the opposition, it's always, they just look like, we're the boss out here. And they certainly play like that, as they did this evening. Of course, Hawthorn, without scoring the opening term, 1 point in the second, 1 point in the third, 1 point in the fourth, just a display of brilliance of the defence of North Melbourne. There we go. Let's head on down to the girls as they sing the song. All right, folks, there we go. That were the girls, happy girls of North Melbourne Kangaroos. And I tell you what, they sang that song with plenty of gusto. Of course, it was North Melbourne this evening, 5-12-42, 39-point winners over Hawthorn, 0-3-3. Fantastic performance by North Melbourne. It'll be interesting to see who Hawthorn have got to play next to stay alive. Tell you what, they'll probably give a good account of whoever they play. They certainly put up a good effort, but they certainly couldn't get through this incredible defence of North Melbourne. There we go. All right, folks. Hey, thanks all for tuning on in. Of course, we had the poll in this evening. And, of course, 64% of us in the live chat went for North Melbourne. Well done, everyone in the chat. Good stuff. Thanks, April City. Thanks, Joseph Taddy. Kathleen was all in there as well. I appreciate everyone coming in, having a little bit of a chit-chat. Always good as we get through the game. But I think that's about all I've got for this game, this coverage. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the next game. Carlton, West Coast Eagles, 3 o'clock. Should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game there. Let's hope the weather's good in Melbourne for that one. And the crowd certainly gets out to cheer on their teams. All right, folks, that's all I got for this one. So until next time, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.